Hello. Hello. My name is Rachael Moss, like they said. I try to be funny. Sometimes it is rewarded, but sometimes I'm also put on the spot. And I think that a lot of my humor comes from people not knowing that I'm supposed to be funny and then being pleasantly surprised. Right? No, okay. As I have started doing more and more comedy and radio and also having a relationship, I've found that I've actually run out of words. I used to have a lot to say because I was just spending all my time alone, and now I'm surrounded by people, and I realize that there is actually a finite amount of energy and things that I want to share with the world. How many of you identify as introverts? How many of you identify as extroverts? How many of you identify as, please stop trying to define me? Yeah. It's a thing. It's a thing. Labels are dumb. They're really stupid. I had a friend who has had both female and male partners talk to me yesterday, and they were like, Rachel, is it okay if I call myself straight? I was like, you can call yourself whatever the fuck you want, but why would you want to? No, I'm not criticizing heterosexuals. That wasn't how I was meant. I'm not trying to get political. But I'm just saying that why would you limit yourself, because if you're presenting yourself as something, then people are going to expect that of you. That's why I regret ever calling myself a comic, because now people expect me to be funny. Speaking of politics, said I wasn't going to do this, and this might be in bad taste, but I really, really wish that the term radical extremist didn't sound so cool. I know it's bad, and I know the people who are given that title do really horrible things, but I bet that in their friend circles, they're like, do you know what they're calling me on the news? A radical extremist. It's like, in another context where horrible things in the world weren't happening, it would be like a really cool surfer who surfs on lava. That is one radical extremist, bro. Simpler times. I'm still learning stuff every day. I feel like that should be obvious because I'm a college student, but you'd be surprised how little I learn sometimes. You ever just go through your day and you just zone out and the day's over and you're like, oh wait, that happened. Yeah? No? You just autopilot. And I think on those days my brain goes on a vacation. It goes to like Mars. And it's like, wow, this is really boring. I thought there'd be more people. Little car zooming around, singing itself happy birthday. Comes back at the end of the day. What did you do? I don't know. What did you do? Little weird, little couples quarrel. We were talking today about how minds and bodies are separate. It's this dualism by Descartes, or as my philosophy professor said, Descartes, which was horrible. But the word for, he came up with the coordinate system that we use today. Now you're going to learn something if you're listening. Hi. But anyway, he came up with this, coordination system. And the word in French for map is carte. And so his name means the maps. And I am assuming that they got the word for map from Descartes. But if not, what a fucking coincidence. I've always envied people who have last names that kind of have inspired them or fit really, really well with their job. There's obviously, it came from professions in the past, like the Smiths. They were blacksmiths. genital smiths, I don't know. Prostitutes, what? Now they're a band, yeah. Yeah, they create music. No, but anyway, my last name is Moss, so I just grow on people. But recently I have, what's the term? Stopped caring. So much. You can't completely stop caring, but I talked to one of my friends, and I was complaining about people, and about how they care. And some people come off as trying too hard, and I think that's one of my worst fears, but I try so hard to not try, then I feel like it's just kind of contradicting itself. But anyway, they were saying that sometimes I come off as cold, uncaring, bitch. Which is kind of nice, because I feel like I've been accomplishing my goal. I want people to know that I care about them and I'm interested in their lives, but only when I want to be. And it's very selfish. I know that I'm a selfish person. I've been called that a lot. But when you're a middle child, I feel like you get a pass on a lot of things. Yeah, well, I feel like now that I'm broadcasting, now you guys are going to expect me to be selfish. Darn it. This is really self-defeating. I'm going to switch modes real quick. Give me a... I meant mostly for the person to warn me that I'm out of time, but that was really cool. I want to actually do that a little bit more. Can you do me like a... I know you guys are all crossed arms on the couch, but can you do like a... Smack the person next to you on the face, gently. Can I get a quick show of hands? How many of you guys like to either be hit or hit someone while you're drunk? Is that just me? All right. Tough crowd. I had a friend who, she was, drinking. I'm not promoting the, consumption of alcohol. But she went up to me, Rachel, and she was like, Rachel, I've always wanted to have a black eye. I was like, that's perfect because I like to fight people. And so she's like, okay, well, like, let's do this. And I was like, I have to warn you, my strength is slaps. But the problem with slaps is that, like, it gives you, like, a nice red instead of, like, that, like bruised kind of thing. And I'm like, I can try to do a punch. Like, I wrestled in 2nd grade. I can do this. Transferable skills. And then she was like, okay. I was like, where do you want me to hit you? And she like pointed on her left side of her face. Wait, no. Right side of her face, which would require a left hand punch, which is not, that's my weakness actually. So what happened was, not everybody was in the conversation at this party. And so all they saw was me, and her like kind of like wince and then like fall to the ground and come up, and she was like, weak. But they saw me physically assault my friend, and she was like, it's okay, it was lame. So she was going around this party asking everybody to like punch her and give her a black eye, but it was mostly men at the party, and like that's a very risky game. And so it was basically just me that was willing to fight her, but she didn't want to hit me back, which I feel like defeats the purpose. But anyway, that was my Friday. What kind of parties do you guys go to? Mine? Oh, yours primarily. True. Hey guys, don't spread that. I don't want them clamoring for invites to Rachel's sick parties. I do have coloring books. Not gonna brag, but I know how to cater to those ambiverts. Do a little puzzle in this corner, keg stand over here, a little naked dancing in the middle. I've always thought that there should be more nudity at parties. Honestly, there's like a couple of things that I kind of expected going into college, and it was kegs, togas, and orgies. And I've been disappointed about the quantities of all of those. There's like a little more kegs, I don't even like beer, so that's fine. What was the other thing I said? Togas? Togas are fine. I mean, like, that's just like wrapping a blanket in between your bedroom and the bathroom when your roommates are home. Is that relatable? Yeah? Just me? No? It's okay. But orgies, yeah, I mean, like, you don't really want an orgy, because then it's like awkward. You know, because like you see that person that you saw on Tinder, but you swiped right on, and then they messaged you, but you actually lost interest and you didn't message them back. And they're looking at you from across the room, and they're like, oh, hey, like here's our opportunity to do that thing that we matched on Tinder for. And you're like, wait, I forgot to unmatch you. So you know that I wasn't interested. And like there's this weird moment at orgies. Is that you guys, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna move off the sex. I feel like it's not relatable for about half of you. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks. Yeah, I guess I want to end on a really good note. Bomb. Thank you. I've been Rachael Moss. Thanks.